in this video, we are going to learn how you can create quizzes in Sensei LMS. So if we take a look at our site, we have a pretty standard site. Okay, so we have some courses. So this is our small site over here. Anyway, so let's get back to our dashboard. And here, if we click on Sensei LMS, we already have Sensei LMS installed here. You can download Sensei LMS from the link in this video's description. So here is Sensei LMS. Okay, this is sort of the dashboard area. So to create quizzes, you can go to questions over here. And here you can also click on new questions. And this will lead you to another page. Here you can see you have a quiz builder. You can give your question a title, choose a category, and just basically create your question. So once the question has been created, you can attach this question to your lessons, okay? But we will be taking another approach. We will be creating questions through the course builder. So we are going to go to courses, and here we already have a course. Let's click on edit. And if you guys want to learn how to create a course, we have a video on that. Make sure to check it out. We will provide the link in this video's description. So here we have a course with some modules and lessons. For example, if you want to add a question to any lesson, what you can simply do is select and click on this edit lesson. Let's click on leave. And once you're here, you can add content to your lesson. You can see we don't have any content. What we want to do is add questions to this lesson. To do that, we can simply expand these Gutenberg blocks over here, and you can see the Sensei LMS blocks are all over here. From here, we can either choose question block or we can choose the quiz block. So the difference between these two blocks is that the quiz block allows you to add multiple questions within a single block, and the question block allows you to add only one question to one block. So first, let's try the question. So I'm going to drag and drop it over here, and you can see this is our question. Now, we can click on this multiple choice and it's going to expand. And when you click over here, you can see there are some categories: multiple choice, true, false, gap fill, single line, and ordering. Now you can see there are only 5 categories over here, but Sensei LMS actually has in total of 7 quiz categories. Currently, you can't see those here because probably we're using this block. Okay, the question block probably doesn't allow you to add the other 2 categories, but we will see how you can add those categories when we're using the quiz block. Okay, so first let's check out the question block. So for the first quiz type that I want to show is the multiple choice. So if we choose multiple choice, what we can do is insert our question and then add a question description if you want, or you can also add an image over here to describe the question a little bit more, and then you can add in your choices. So let's go ahead and add in a question. Okay, so this is our question. Now we can add a description if we want, but I choose not to, but you have the freedom to do it. Now to add an answer, we can simply click over here and add in our options. So let's go ahead and do it. And then if we want to add another answer, we can just simply click over here and add the answer in. And again, you can see the other option has been already created for us. So we can add in another option if we want. And in this way, when we add in an option, another option will appear automatically, giving you the chance to add as many options as you want. Okay, so I added only 4 options. The 5th one I don't want, so only 4 options. And from all these, this is the right one, so you have to choose the right answer. And since this is a multiple choice question, you can have multiple correct answers. But for me, this only has one correct answer, so I'm going to make this wrong. So this is only one correct answer. Then in the answer feedback, we can expand this and show a message to the students if they answer this correctly. Again, we can add in a message that will be displayed to the students if they choose the incorrect answer. So let's go ahead and add in some feedbacks for the correct answer. Okay, so that's our feedback. We can also add in another feedback for the incorrect answer. I want to say that, oops, that's not correct. Okay, so that is how you can create multiple choice questions. So after you create the question, you need to save your changes. So I'm going to click on the save button. Okay, now let's see if we can view this lesson. If I click over here, okay, so here it is. So from the front end, it will look like this. introduction to WordPress. In which year was WordPress first launched? So from here you can choose the correct answer and click on submit. And you can see the feedback is being shown over here for the correct answer. That says that's right, WordPress was first launched in the year 2003. We can also reset it by clicking on this button and also complete our lesson. Now let's exit this course and let's get back to our course builder. Okay, great. So we use the question block for this multiple choice question. Now let's use the quiz block and check out the other quiz categories. So we will select a different lesson and click on edit. Now we will click on this plus icon and add the quiz block. Now here you can see you have the ability to add multiple questions and also access the quiz settings from here. So in Sensei LMS, you can use AI to generate questions for you, but we will do this manually. And if we click on this category, you can see we have some more options. For example, this file upload wasn't previously there. This is a new one, and probably the multi-line question is also new. Okay, so let's move to the next quiz type, which is true or false. Let's select it. And you already know how true or false works. You just write a question and you leave it up to the students to choose if the statement is true or false. So let's go ahead and add in our question. Okay, so I added a statement and I can also add a description. So let's add a description to see how this looks. Is WordPress an open source application? It's true, it's open source and free to use for all. Then you can add a feedback if you want, but I'm going to skip it because I've already shown you how you can do it. Okay, so let's move on to the next quiz type. Once I click over here, it already generates the question for me. I can then choose the quiz type I want. So I'm going to choose the gap fill question now. And let's write our question. So the way fill in the blanks or gap fill works is that you write a question title. Remember, this is a question title and not the question itself. Then you add a description if you want. Then you add text before the gap and then text after the gap. So this is your actual question. So first you add some text before the gap or the blanks. Then you add the answer. Okay, so there will be a blank after the question, and then you add the text after the blank or after the answer. Okay, so let's go ahead and see how this works. The question that I want to add is WordPress is the most popular CMS in the world. So for that, what I have to do is I added the text before the gap. WordPress is the most popular, and the blanks is CMS. I want students to write CMS in the blank, so I'm going to write CMS is the most popular CMS. And I need to write the text after this blank, which is in the world. Okay, great. So that is how you can create the gap fill or fill in the blanks question type. Now let's move on to the next quiz type, and we're going to click over here. The next quiz type is a single line answer, short answer to an open-ended question. So if I select this, here you can add in your question and students have to add their answers over here. So let me write a question so that you can understand how this works. All right, we've written a question, which is, what is Studio by WordPress.com? So this is a question that cannot be answered with one word. You need to describe it a little bit. So this is perfect for a single line question. After you write the question, you can also add a description. We added a description over here, and you can see there's an answer box. We cannot write anything here, but when students see this question, they can answer over here. Okay, so again, there's one thing we can do. Here's a grading notes area. You can see what this is. You can read over here. It says displayed to the teacher when grading the question. So if another teacher is grading the questions, he or she might be confused what the answer is. So if you want to give her or him a note, you can write it over here. In our case, we actually added the answer, a WordPress localhost environment offered by WordPress.com. So Studio is basically a localhost environment. So when the teacher is grading this question, he or she can see this note and understand if the student has answered it correctly or not. Let's move on to the next question type. So first, here we'll select the question And from our list, we will select the multi-line question type. So this is just like the single line question, but it's long answer to open-ended questions. There are some questions which requires a broad explanation or broad answer. So these are that type of question. So let me add a question and you'll understand. So this is my question. Describe how you can install WordPress on localhost. So this requires a lot of explanations and a student cannot answer it just by one line. Okay, so this requires a broad explanation. That's why we have a big box over here. You can also add description over here to help the students understand the question better so they can answer it properly. Now that is the multi-line question. Now let's move on to the next question type. We're going to click over here and select the file upload. And from here, we are going to write another question. Okay, so we've written a question. It says, create a simple blogging site with WordPress and write in a document how you have created it. Then upload the file. So this question type basically allows your students to upload a PDF or a document file. Using this question type, you can allow students to write answer in a document where they will be able to add texts, images, and other media files and upload it using this interface. And the teachers can download the document, look at it, and then grade it. Okay, so this is a fantastic question type. We can also add a description to help the students understand the question better. So let's go ahead and do it. And in the description, we have written, your document can have images showing the different steps you have taken when creating the blog with WordPress. You can create a PDF or doc file and then upload it. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. They will just have to create a blog website using WordPress. And of course, everybody will have their own unique way of creating their blog site with WordPress. And after they're done, they can describe the steps they have taken when they created their blog site in a document and then upload the file. So this will be a great exercise for the students. Okay, so after the file upload, we are going to move on to the next question type. We will click over here and select the ordering question type. Here it says, place the answers in the correct order. So you might have already guessed. You can write a question over here and add a few answers or options, and the students have to rearrange those options or answers in the correct order. So let's go ahead and add a question so it will be clear for you. Okay, so this is our question. Rearrange the following WordPress user roles with the highest privileges on top. So we will add the WordPress user roles and students have to rearrange those in the correct order. So let's go ahead and do it. Okay, so this is the order: admin, editor, author, contributor, and subscriber. So you have to write it in the arranged order, okay? You can also change these orders if you want, but here it says answers will be randomly shuffled on the quiz. So when this question is displayed on the front end, these options will be shuffled. So you don't have to place this in one way. This will be shuffled randomly and students have to arrange them exactly in this order: admin, editor, author, contributor, and subscriber. So as the question says, the highest privileges should be on top. So since admin has the highest privilege, it should be on top, and subscriber will be at the bottom because the subscriber user role has the least privileges. Okay, so that actually finishes all the question types. We have covered all the question types. Now let's go ahead and take a look at these point systems that you can see over here. You can see all the questions yield 1 point. So if the students answer this question correctly, they will be awarded 1 point. So you can change the number of points a question will give the students. So the true or false gives 1 point. If you want the fill in the blanks to have higher point, you can simply write over here 2, or you can change it from here as well. Okay, so for the single line question, we will award 3 points. And describe how you can install WordPress on localhost, we will give 4 points. For this question, we are going to select it and we're going to select 5 points. And for the rearrangement, we're only going to award 2 points. Okay, so that is the point system of questions. Now, if we scroll down, we can also see another option over here that says the quiz settings. Okay, so let's click over here and see the quiz settings. Here you can see there are some quiz settings, the color settings, and in the advanced we can add additional CSS classes. But let's actually take a look at these settings first. Here you can see in the quiz settings first it says pass required. So students have to pass this question in order to progress. We can enable this option and you can see that it reveals a few more options. A passing grade. So students need to acquire a certain amount of percentage in order to pass this quiz. So we can select what percentage it will be. Let's select 70%, okay? So students have to answer 70% questions correctly in order to pass this quiz, okay? Now, the next line, it says, if student does not pass quiz, what students see when reviewing their quiz after grading? So here are three more options. The first one says, indicate which questions are incorrect. So we are going to show the students which of these questions they have answered incorrectly. Okay, so we can have this enabled. And here it says, show correct answer. So we can hide this if you want. So the students can see that particular questions they answered was wrong, but we can hide the correct answer from them. So if they retake this question, the answer will be still unknown to them. They will have to study and then come back. Okay, so you can have this disabled if you want, but we're just enabling it because it was enabled by default. Okay, the other one is the show answer feedback text. So this is a great feature that you can add. After you grade the students from the backend, you can add the answer feedback, which we will see just a bit later on in the video. You can have this enabled. And there's the auto grade option. If we read here, it says automatically grade multiple choice, true, false, and gap fill questions that have a non-zero point value. So if you enable this, the multiple choice, true, false, and gap fill questions that have a non-zero point value will be automatically graded. You can also allow retakes. You can randomize question order. So these questions will be randomized. And you can also add a quiz timers. So students will have a limited time to answer all these questions. Okay. So I'm going to disable it, but you can have this enabled. And for the pagination, all the questions will be available in a single page. If you want, you can add multi-page, and each page will have a single question, and you can also show the progress bar. Okay, so that is actually an interesting thing that you can add, but just to keep everything simple, we are going to choose a single page to answer all our questions. So once you're done with the settings, you can save it, but we will take a look at a few more things. So if we scroll down, here you can see the Sensei content drip options. So it says, when should this lesson become available? You can control the content drip feature from here. You can either choose as soon as the course is started, on a specific date. You can choose a specific date when this lesson will be available. Or you can choose this one, which says a specific interval after the course start date. So here, for example, if I write 2, that means the lesson will be available 2 days after the course has been published. I'm not going to do any of these. I'm just going to choose the first one, as soon as the course is started. And finally, here it is, lesson information, the lesson length in minutes, lesson complexity. You can choose it from here as well. Okay, so after you're done with everything, you can click on save over here to save your changes and wait for it to complete. And finally, when you're done, you can click on view lesson from here to check how these questions are viewed in the front end. Okay, let's see if we can answer all of these correctly. So first, it says WordPress is an open source application. So this is a true statement. Fill in the gap with the correct answer. WordPress is the most popular CMS in the world. What is Studio by WordPress.com? So let's write our single line answer. Okay, so this is our answer. A WordPress localhost environment offered by WordPress.com. And here, describe how you can install WordPress on localhost. Now, this will require a lot of time to answer, but we'll just write a single line answer so you can see how it works. Okay, so we have written a single line. We can use localhost environments such as Studio to install WordPress on the localhost. And there's one more thing that you can notice is that you have the editor available over here, so you can perform various tasks such as make texts bold. You can also make words italic. You can add bullet points, numbering lists. You can also shift your text from center, align it to the right or left. You can add in links and also insert more tags. Also, you can add in headings over here. So there's a lot of things that you can do. So that is multi-line questions. So we can scroll down, and you can also notice that we have the points over here. So students can know how much points they will be awarded when they answer the question correctly. And the question is, create a simple blogging site with WordPress and write in a document how you have created it, then upload the file. So we're going to click over here and choose a PDF file from our computer. So here we uploaded the file and the teachers can download it and grade our work. And finally, we have the rearrange question. Here it says rearrange the following WordPress user roles with the highest privileges on top. As you can see, our options has been rearranged. So now the students have to rearrange all these options in the correct order. So admin has the highest privilege. We're going to place it on top. Then editor has the next privilege, and author is the third one. Contributor is the fourth, and subscriber will be at last. So here we have answered all the questions correctly. Now we're going to click on complete quiz. Great. And now it says, awaiting grade, your answers have been submitted and the quiz will be graded soon. You'll receive an email once it's ready to view. Okay, so we're going to go to the back end and we're going to hover our mouse over Sensei LMS, and here in the grading section you can already see there's a notification because we submitted the quiz. So let's go ahead and click on it, and you can see that here the question was submitted. Okay, now we're going to click on grade quiz, and now we can grade the quiz over here. So WordPress is an open source application. We're going to say this is correct. So students have been awarded 1 point. Then if we scroll down, here is the gap fill. You can see this is the question and the correct answer is being shown over here. And also you can add an answer feedback. So we can say something like, well done. Or if the student answers incorrectly, we can add in another feedback over here. After you look at all of these, we can grade it over here. So this is correct. Okay. And the single line question over here, you can see what is Studio by WordPress.com. And here's the question description. And finally, this is the answer. A WordPress localhost environment offered by WordPress.com. And the correct answer is already being shown over here. So we're going to put a tick over here. Then if we scroll down here, it says, describe how you can install WordPress on localhost. This is the answer. And no correct answer is shown over here because we didn't add one. So we are free to judge if the answer is correct or not. So we're going to put a tick mark over here and scroll down. And here in the file upload, over here it says create a simple blogging site with WordPress and write in a document how you have created it, then upload the file. Now when students upload a file, we can see it over here. Now if I click over here, I can download the PDF file, read it and see if they have answered everything correctly, and then we can add in our points. Now we can also adjust the points. So for example, I think the student could have done a much better work. We are going to give him 3 points instead of 5. So we can do that as well. And then we can also explain that why they have gotten 3 out of 5, how they could have improved their questions. We can write the feedback over here as well. And finally, in the ordering, all the orders are correct. You can see the correct answer is being shown over here: admin, editor, author, contributor, and subscriber. And we can match this. And it's okay, so we are going to put a tick mark over here. And finally, we can click on grade. And you can see the percentage is also being shown over here, 88.24%. So students have passed this quiz, and that is how you can basically grade the answers in Sensei LMS. So that brings our video to a conclusion. Let us know in the comment section what you think about Sensei LMS Quiz Builder. And if you found this video helpful, give it a like. Subscribe to our channel for more helpful videos on WordPress. So thank you for watching. See you in the next video.